Hello everybody, John here with Shooting Tips and Tricks, and today I bring you another product for all of us here in California. This one is the Bear Flag Defense BF10. This is one of the ejection port loaders, just like the MA loader. But at first glance I think it's a bit better design, and just picking it up, this sucker is a lot sturdier as well. Now, we got the usual literature on the package about it. They even got a little description on the back here. Things our attorney makes us say. And it's the usual spiel. Is not a magazine, not an ammunition feeding device. Does not modify your firearm to make it legal. It's not a toy. Contains small parts that could pose a choking hazard for children and curious adults. Yeah. It even says, in fact, you could probably figure out a way to choke on this bag if you try hard enough. So don't do that either. Yes, it actually says that. And it says if you want to practice using it, use dummy rounds and all that stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Let's crack into this thing and take a look. Alright, now we got our little instruction paper here. Well, are you working now? Alright. Well, sorry for that interruption there, guys. I had a little mishap with the camera. I quit recording. Alright, anyways, like I was saying before, I mentioned with the instruction sheet here, it looks like this one loads similar to a AK mag, or it attaches, where you hook the front end and then cant it back, and unlocks just the opposite. You push it forward to unlock it, and which is a nice feature. The MA loader was the exact opposite. You actually had to pull it back to get it out, and it was a little bit awkward. Pushing forward is more of a fluid motion. So, anyways, and like I was saying, it's a really nice design to this thing. I mean, whoever did the mold for them did a really nice job. It's all clean and well done. There's no obstructions or anything like that. The logo is really sharp, and all the detail is sharp on it. Now, when I first looked at this, I thought it was a pure polymer like the MA loader is, but I took and scratched at this ugly little mold stem back here, and it's actually a fiber reinforced polymer, which is a nice feature, but it has its ups and downs. Just like pure polymer is more flexible and more susceptible to heat, the fiber reinforced polymer, it's since it's more rigid, it's going to be more prone to cracking. And given the design of this one, if it's going to crack anywhere, it's most likely going to be on this little tab up here from a lot of use of flexing back and forth eventually. But a lot of that's going to depend on the percentage of fiber as well. So if they keep the percentage pretty low, it's going to have more of the flexible features of pure polymer, as opposed to like a rifle stock, which has a really high percentage. Oh, like I said, it has a really high percentage, and they're a lot more prone to cracking. So anyways, now back to the task at hand, and it's a pretty clean mold other than the stem back here, which they probably could have shrank that down a bit more. And similar to the MA loader, it has the little tabs on the front here where it locks into the front of the ejection port. And given the size of this bulb on the back, I'm guessing it probably interacts with the shell deflector rather than the bolt, which is a nice feature. That was one I hated about the MA loader, is since it locks into the front of the bolt face, once you pull it out, the bolt releases automatically. So hopefully this one doesn't do that. And then the other one I noticed, well, the obvious, is the design of it. Unlike the MA loader that has a little ring in the middle that you pull forward to load, this one's got your tabs on the side, which is a nice one. So if you're a left-handed shooter, you can grip it pretty naturally like so, and right-handed shooter, if you're doing like a reach over to load, it's the same natural feel. Just pull forward and pull back. Yeah, so that's a nice one. But the biggest one that I noticed with this one is this back catch here. It actually acts like a hold as well on all these ripples back here. So when you push it down, it unlocks and you can slide it forward. That was one of the big annoyances I had with the MA loader, is it has this little freaking tab here which you have to lock into the middle of it to keep it from dumping out rounds every time you bump it a little bit. So we won't have to worry about that with this one, with this little catch on there. Alright, and the overall look of it is really nice. You can see it's a typical molded part. You have the seam going down the middle here on both ends. And it's probably done the same as a lot of others, where you have the two-piece mold with the insert in the middle. And you got your little ejection pin marks up on the front here. And looks like there's in the back here as well, there's two little ones. And it appears that that's all they're using on this one, is those 4 pins at each corner. A little bit unusual. Yep. Alright, well, I think that's about it for this one. We'll head outside and put some rounds through it and see how it does. Alright, well, we finally got a bit of clear weather out here, so we came out and we're going to give these Bear Flag Defense loaders a little test run, see how they do. Alright, that's going to be a little bit awkward on this one because we have the scope on the side, so hopefully it doesn't impair things too much. There. That went pretty smooth. Yeah. Now, one thing I did notice right off the bat is getting those last couple of rounds in there is pretty effortless. I mean, it's a pretty dead stop once you hit the end of it. I was running into that issue with the MA loaders where you had to give it that extra little push to get the last couple of rounds in. So it goes this way. Now, it's a little bit awkward loading it from the left side because you can't quite line things up as nice, but there it is. And the scope makes it a little bit tougher as well. That's it. All right. We'll load up another one and give it a shot. There I have it. Looks like these little loaders are running nice and clean. A single issue with them. Alright, well, we'll head back inside and I'll take a closer look at them. Alright, we're back in the shop here and we're going to take a little closer look at this guy. Starting with the disassembly. Now, the nice thing about this product is they give you an instruction sheet that shows everything, including disassembly. Now they actually show up here at the top to use a piece of brass to leverage the plate off, but there's a little bit of an easier way. If you look at the bottom here, you can see those two little tabs in the center there on either side. On this side there's only one, so it's going to go off that way. Or, yes, that way. Let me make sure. So, all we'll do is just take the sucker and just tap it right on the corner, like so. And that pops it loose because, just like with Glock mags, they just have this little detent in it that holds everything in place. And as you can see, there's a correlating one on here. Alright, then after that, all I have to do is pull this guy out. And there's a little two-piece setup. You can see all this rippling on the side. They were running their mold a little bit cold when they did this one, so I want to turn up the temperature a bit. And you just got this little piece on top here, and it just sits right into there like so. So, real simple design, nice. And then, as I said before with this guy, it's just a standard three-piece mold, similar to what you'd use on a polymer magazine. Yep. So, not too much there, it's just a shell. So, take and snap this guy back together real quick. Which is just as simple as taking it apart. Just make sure we get this on the right way, which would be this way, just like that. So, now one thing I will say is originally I had intended to use this with my with one of my Juggernaut setups, but it wouldn't quite fit, as I'll show you with this guy. This forward portion here is far too thick to fit in this notch on it here, which even with a mil-spec one I found this notch to be rather tight. That guy aside. So when I was putting it in the gun, when I was using my left hand to reach over the gun and put it in, it was a little bit tough to catch it into that notch all the way so it would rock into place. It's a little bit snug there. And I also found, well, as you can see on this one, it's notched off on the corners there. That's because I had gotten a bit of a hurry and I just tried to angle it out and pull it out right away. Well, if you just pull it out then like that, then this catch here binds up and it knocks those corners off. But oddly enough, after it knocked those corners off, it worked a little easier. But I found if you just keep a little bit of rearward pressure on it, when you tip it forward, it just pretty much falls out. Now, the thing I will say is this mold stem on here, it's just cosmetic, but that's a little bit excessive. If you adjust the parameters on your mold machine, you don't need an opening that big to mold a part like this. Now, beyond that, it's a really nice product. It's designed more around mil-spec setups and doesn't work with all aftermarket ones, or not really aftermarket, but like machined uppers. I've got a Voltor upper, which it didn't quite work on. The back hump here would hit on the ejection, or the deflector rather. So that was one little issue I had there. And I tried a couple of different ways to load it to see what works the best, and they give their recommendations in the book here, which are about the best way. But I found if you just hold the sucker like so and just snap them in like that, because it's a little bit stiff pushing this follower back, because you have to go over each of these humps. But that's the most reliable way to load it. I tried pulling it back and just snapping them in, and every time they would get in here crooked. So yeah, that. And then one of the big selling points for me with this guy is, unlike the MA loader, this works with 300 blackout. And I tried it a while ago. If I had a few rounds handy, I'd show you, but they snap in just as easy as the 5.56, so no worries there. Hey, all in all, it's a great product. I mean, for the most part, I didn't have any major issues. Just little tiny things there, here and there, like this front piece primarily. And one nice thing too is if you have an aftermarket upper that you want to use one of these on, one nice thing about doing them at a fiber reinforced polymer is it's completely moldable. So you can always take an X-Acto knife, a file, sandpaper, whatever, and just get in there and modify those surfaces just a little bit so it'll work with your setup. So yeah, I think that covers just about everything. Oh, one last one I'll add is thanks to a viewer, 2-in-1, he let me know about these products, and as an appreciation for that, I'm going to send you one of these. So if you're watching, you can send me over your information on where to ship it, and I'll get one sent out to you. And then Bear Flag was nice enough to send me a couple of these to do this video, so I'll leave a link in the description if you guys want to grab one for yourselves. Alright, well, I think that's about it for this video. And as always, if you liked it, there's a button down there. If you didn't like it, well, button down there. Anything you want to add, let me know in the comments. And thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.